Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about torque and angular momentum for a system of particles. In our previous video, we have discussed about torque and angular momentum for a single particle. And we got for a single particle, vector L is equal to vector R cross vector P. Okay, vector tau is equal to vector R cross vector F. Then vector F is equal to d vector P divided by dt. Then vector tau is equal to d vector L divided by dt. I hope you remember all these equations. I will provide the link in the description box. If you want, you can watch that. Okay, so all these equations, this is for the angular momentum of a single particle, torque on a single particle. Okay, then force torque. Okay, in terms of momentum and angular momentum. Alright, so all these equations are for the case of a single particle. So we have discussed about the torque and angular momentum for a single particle so far. Alright, now let us see what changes will be there in these equations if we consider the case of a system of particles. See, the total angular momentum of a system of particles about a given point is the vector sum of angular momenta of all individual particles. So, if we have a system of n particles, then total angular momentum can be written as vector L is equal to vector L1 plus vector L2 plus vector L3 plus vector L4 plus etc. plus vector Ln. Okay, where this capital vector L, it is actually the total angular momentum of the system of n particles. Vector L1 is the angular momentum of the first particle, vector L2 is the angular momentum of the second particle, etc. Vector Ln is the angular momentum of the nth particle. Okay, and this can be written in terms of summation as sigma I equal to 1 to n vector Li. Alright, I am taking this as equation number 1. See, vector Li, I can have values 1 to n. Okay, so for I equal to 1, this becomes vector L1. Summation, no? So plus. Then for I equal to 2, this becomes vector L2. Summation, so plus, etc. Then for n, vector Ln. Okay, so we can write this equation in terms of summation like this. And I have taken this as equation number 1. Alright, now for a single particle, vector L is equal to vector R cross vector P, no? Okay, so for the ith particle, we can write vector Li is equal to vector Ri cross vector Pi. Okay, for a single particle, vector L is equal to vector R cross vector P. So for the ith particle, we can write vector Li is equal to vector Ri cross vector Pi. That is the angular momentum of the ith particle can be written as vector Ri cross vector Pi, and I am taking this as equation number 2. Okay, where this vector Ri is actually the position vector of the ith particle and vector Pi is actually, this is actually the position vector of the ith particle with respect to a given origin. Then vector Pi, what is this vector Pi? Vector Pi is the momentum of the ith particle, linear momentum of the ith particle, that can be written as mi into vector Vi. Okay, because momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. So momentum of the ith particle can be written as vector Pi is equal to mi into vector Vi, where mi is the mass of the ith particle and vector Vi is the velocity of the ith particle. Okay, so if we substitute this equation number 2 in equation number 1, this becomes, that is, I am substituting this equation number 2 in equation number 1. So equation number 1 becomes vector L is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n vector Li, and that becomes summation over I. You can write I equal to 1 to n, or if you are simply writing summation over I, no problem. Then vector Li, that is actually what? Vector Ri cross vector Pi. Alright, and I am taking this as equation number 3. For a single particle, vector L equal to vector R cross vector P, no? Equation 3, this is actually the generalization of the definition of angular momentum for a single particle to a system of particles. So for a system of particles, the total angular momentum will be equal to summation over I equal to 1 to n vector Ri cross vector Pi. Okay, so this equation is actually the generalization of the definition of angular momentum for a single particle to a system of n particles. So, from equation number 3 we have vector L, that is the total angular momentum of the system of particles, as summation over I equal to 1 to n vector Li, which is equal to summation over I vector Ri cross vector Pi. Alright. Now, let us differentiate this equation number 3 with respect to time. That is, I am taking only this part of the equation, okay. I am going to differentiate both the sides of this equation with respect to time. So, when we differentiate this equation with respect to time, we can write d by dt of vector L is equal to d by dt of what? Summation over I. Okay, summation over I equal to 1 to n. I am just writing summation over I vector Li. Alright, now this can be written as, the summation over I can be taken outside. So, summation over I d by dt of vector Li. Now, for a single particle, we know that d vector L divided by dt is equal to torque. Okay, rate of change of angular momentum is actually equal to the torque acting on the particle. Okay, so d vector L divided by dt is equal to vector torque. So, therefore, d vector Li, here we have d vector Li divided by dt, no? So, d by dt of vector Li, that can be written as vector tau I, no? Okay, that is the rate of change of angular momentum of the ith particle. Okay, that can be taken as vector tau I, which is the torque acting on the ith particle. Alright, so this expression becomes d by dt of vector L is equal to summation over I. D by dt of vector Li can be written as vector tau I. So, vector tau I. Alright, I am taking this as equation number 4. Okay, now for a single particle, we have torque is equal to vector R cross vector F. Okay, so for the ith particle, we can write vector tau I is equal to vector Ri cross vector Fi. I am taking this as equation number 5. Where vector Ri is the position vector of the ith particle with respect to some origin. Vector Fi is the force on the ith particle. Okay, it is actually the vector sum of, vector Fi, that is a force on the ith particle. So, this vector Fi, which is a force on the ith particle, it is actually the vector sum of external forces acting on the ith particle, that is vector Fi external, and the internal forces acting on the ith particle, okay, by the other particles of the system. Alright, see, summation over I vector tau I, it is actually the total torque acting on the system. Okay, summation over I vector tau I. Vector tau I is the torque acting on the ith particle, but summation over I vector tau I, it is actually the total torque on the system. Okay, so the total torque on the system vector tau can be written as summation over I vector tau I, which is equal to summation over I. Okay, tau is actually what? We have tau as vector R cross vector F. So, tau I vector Ri cross vector Fi. Okay, so vector Ri cross vector Fi. And I am taking this as equation number 6. Alright, there will be a contribution of the external forces to the total torque, as well as there will be a contribution of the internal forces to the total torque. Okay, there will be a contribution of the external forces to the total torque, as well as there will be a contribution of the internal forces to the total torque. So, we can write the total torque tau as tau external plus tau internal. Alright, I am taking this as equation number 7. Now, this external torque can be written as summation over I vector Ri cross, okay, tau I is actually vector Ri cross vector Fi. So, the external torque can be written as summation over I vector Ri cross vector Fi external. Okay, and internal torque can be written as summation over I vector Ri cross vector Fi internal. Okay, now from Newton's third law of motion, we know that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is, the forces between any two particles of the system are equal and opposite, and these forces are directed along the line joining the two particles. So, in this case, the contribution of the internal forces, vector Fi internal, to the total torque on the system is 0. Since the torque resulting from each action-reaction pair of forces is 0. Okay, we can write torque internal as vector 0. That is a null vector. Okay, because it has a magnitude 0, that's all. So, this becomes what? The total torque, equation number 7, that is the total torque vector tau is equal to vector tau external plus vector tau internal. This internal torque that becomes 0. Okay, so this will be only the external torque. And I am taking this as equation number 8. Okay, now see from equation number 4, we have d by dt of vector L. So, d by dt of vector L is equal to summation over I vector tau I. Okay, summation over I vector tau I means what? It is a total torque acting on the system. So, that can be taken as vector tau. Okay, now from equation 8 we have that torque is equal to vector tau external. That is, this is equal to vector tau external torque. Alright, that is, we can write d by dt of vector L, that is d vector L divided by dt is equal to what? Vector tau external. And I am taking this as equation number 9. Alright, that is, the time rate of change of the total angular momentum of a system of particles about a point is equal to what? The sum of the external torque or the torques due to the external forces acting on the system taken about the same point. Okay, so for a system of particles, in translational motion, we actually have d vector p divided by dt is equal to vector f external. That is from Newton's second law. This equation number 9 is actually the rotational analog of this equation. Okay, for translational motion, we have rate of change of linear momentum as vector f external. Okay, in rotational motion, we have rate of change of angular momentum as vector tau external. Okay, torque is actually the rotational analog of force. Okay, so from Newton's second law of motion, in translational motion, we have this equation, and this equation is actually, equation number 9 is actually the rotational analog of this equation. So, in this video, we have discussed about the torque and angular momentum for a system of particles, and we got the rotational analog of this equation, which is the Newton's second law of motion in translational motion. I hope you understood this. Thank you.